Hello traders out there in Traderland, my name is Des Woodruff. I am a senior analyst and mentor here at Grok Trade, also serving as the president and also founder of freetradingvideos.com Incorporated, DBA Grok Trade. And this is the weekend edition. The video is good through Sunday, October 3rd, 2010. Here we are looking at the broad markets as a whole. We're going to be looking at the daily, weekly, and monthly on each one of these major indices, and this will be very eye-opening. And the other thing I want to share with you, just to prep here, things that support you look to buy, things at resistance you look to sell. Support you buy, resistance you sell. The other thing is, when it comes to legs, extensions, how many bars do you have in a leg? Usually 5 to 6. On the retracement, 3 to 4. Now let's get looking at the daily. The daily chart on the S&P. We are in the world's largest symmetrical triangle. Anytime you do technical analysis, go back and get the big picture. Think macro. Big trend line coming down, trend line coming up. We hit boom, 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 boom a number of times, and here we are. Now, I just want to help you out when you're talking to others, when you're out there talking with technicians. You want to make sure that you're really not calling this an inverted head and shoulders. Now, here's why. Inverted head and shoulders are major trend reversals. Here, what type of trend are you in coming down? Downtrend, right? Yes, easy to see. You're crashing and burning. This is an inverted head and shoulders. Shoulder, head and shoulder, boom. You come rallying up. Now, what is this called? An uptrend. You do not look for inverted head and shoulders in the top of an uptrend. If anything, you look for a head and shoulders, not an inverted head and shoulders. Now, let's go a little deeper in technical analysis. A lot of people say, well, that looks like an inverted head and shoulders. Well, at the high of a big trend, it's more of a symmetrical triangle. To be more specific, it's more of a diamond pattern. If I were to draw a line coming up here, a line going down here, all it is a beautiful diamond chart pattern. All right, so be careful calling this an inverted head and shoulders, because it's just not. So anyway, here we are. Looking at this, we are at this major trend line resistance area, and we're pretty extended, gang. The MACD has already rolled over. We're heading down. We're still above the zero line. Now, let's go to the weekly. The weekly here is a monster symmetrical triangle. Now, all this is the same triangle we were just looking at. But let's zoom in a little bit here. We have a couple trend lines or moving averages that I've drawn in. And these moving averages, especially on this chart, the red ones. And those red ones are the 200 simple and the 225 simple coming across. Right here should act as some really nice resistance. But the chances of us getting up there, it's going to have to plow through a major trend line. Guess where we're sitting right now? Right there at it. Check this out. If we come across, look at this major swing high. Do you see that? Comes across. We actually found some resistance there. That's precisely where we're at as we speak. Now, how many bars do we have up in this up leg? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have a doji for the week. Doji signifies reversal or indecision, so it does act as a reversal pattern. And we hang up at a resistance point and below a major trend line and below some major moving averages on the weekly. So this looks like it has a better chance of dropping than continuing forward. Let's go down here, look at the monthly. All right, let's get this in here. Oh, let me resize this a little bit. All right, here's the big monthly, big symmetrical triangle. Look at this. Support, resistance, support. We come across, we busted it, came back down. Now it's acting as resistance yet again. Look at this big symmetrical triangle. We're now above it. That big trend line, that's very good for October. What are the chances that we will, in fact, stay above it? I don't know. It does not look good, because do you see the shadow lines coming down? Shadow. We're right there. If I were to bring this down ever so slightly, really tighten it up. That's precisely where we're at. I think this next week has a great chance of going bearish on us. If not, man, if we blast down, I think next week will be a huge move one direction or the other. And right now I'm hedged. I'm going into the weekend, and I was bullish. Just a little side note here, gang. Throughout the day, if the markets are bullish, I take my hedge off. If the markets are bearish, I keep my hedges on. It's about capital preservation. Over the weekend, 100% chance I'm going to be hedged just like I am now. Very important to be that. Protect your capital. Here's the thing. We are still below this shadow line, trend line. That thing could come crashing down right now because especially we are at two areas of resistance at this moment. So let's be watching that and watching it really closely. Now let's go here to the NASDAQ. Now something else also, the NASDAQ and Russells will usually lead the markets. However, what's interesting here is if I look at the big symmetrical triangle on the daily, look at this. We're not even at the resistance point yet. So if anything, we're lagging. We're lagging behind. Where's the strength at? Why aren't we up here at that trend line like we are the Dow and the S&P? It's because the Dow and S&P, a lot of times when the markets are going to be really strong, you'll have the Dow or the NASDAQ and the Russell showing significant strength and leading. And but what you'll see in the markets are a little iffy. You'll see the Dow showing strength in the S&P, but not so much the Russells or NASDAQ. We're seeing the NASDAQ actually a little laggy right here at some resistance points. I have a trend line, support, resistance, and we're at resistance. And we like to zoom in a little bit after we went macro. Now we're looking more micro. And here we are. We're really extended. Look how many bars we've gone up. I mean, count those. I mean, that's a bunch of them. But let's go here to the weekly. Now, the weekly, I want you to pay more attention to the gold line and the purple line coming across. Let me show you a couple things here. If you go back in time, my gold line is the 260 simple. You can see this resistance right here, resistance, and the purple line support, resistance on the purple line. But watch this gold line, big support. Big support. Look at this purple line, resistance. This is on the weekly NASDAQ, resistance blasted through. But check this out. All right, here we are. We're in this big symmetrical triangle. We're not up at resistance yet, so we actually do have some room to climb, and we are above that line. But here's the thing, is it doesn't know what it wants to do. It goes below it, goes above it, goes below it, above it. Now it's above it again. It's hung up. Now we're in the apex of a triangle. When the markets coil like this, expect a huge movement to the upside or downside. I'm expecting some big movement to take place relatively soon here. Let's look at the monthly. Let's go macro, pull in a bunch of data here. Huge symmetrical triangle on the monthly. And look at this, we're at resistance yet again. Does that surprise us? Not at all. So we are at major resistance right now on a couple fronts here. If you go back in time, we have this line right here, resistance, support, resistance. We busted through it, come down. Now we're at that resistance line and the trend line resistance line. Ouch, we're in a lot of trouble there. If we go to the Russells, here's the Russells. This is the daily that we're looking at, pulling a lot of data. Look at this, we're not at that resistance line like we are the Dow and the S&P. Why is it lagging? It's lagging, but there is plenty of room for it to grow. So there is hope for the markets here because we do have some room to grow. The problem is, look how extended this leg is. Go back in time, measure that, and see how many times we have a leg that long and continue higher. Doesn't happen very often. All right, let's look at the weekly. And the weekly, big symmetrical triangle, go back in time, and you can pull in some of these moving averages that we've been looking at. But look at this purple one coming across, acting as support. Now we're trying to bust up over these other ones. It needs to get some legs and continue up. How many bars are we up? We're up 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're pretty extended already. So what's going to happen? Anybody's guess, other than the fact that we're pretty extended, but there's room to grow. Here is the monthly. The monthly at major resistance. Be expecting some major moves out there in the markets. Hey, we do mentor. We have a mentorship coming up. Go to our website, freeonlinetradingeducation.com. Check us out. Take care, safe trading, pass this on to a friend.